How's it going, guys? I'm Derek.
What's up, guys? This is Seth.
So we are the NoFap Bros, and topic for today's video is it's just going to be a question that I think a lot of guys have is why would I even try NoFap in the first place? Um, I think a lot of us are conditioned from a young age, especially in today's society. It's like just fapping to porn is just something that's just normal. It's something that pretty well most guys do, and why should I stop doing it? Like, what's the point in even trying it? Um, so what are your thoughts on that, Seth? Why should guys stop masturbating to porn?
Yeah, well, as we were talking about before, the number one reason is because A, you've got nothing to lose. Literally nothing to lose, and you've got everything to gain. And I think that that's one of the biggest fears that people have is, what am I going to do? How am I going to spend my time? I can't go to sleep without masturbating. I can't function without looking at porn. And those things are all so minute on the grand scale of your life. You know, we think that we need them, but you can actually do without. So I think the first and foremost reason that anyone should try it is to finally just cut out all the opinions, cut out all the, the reports that they keep hearing, and just finally test it out for yourself. Because I get a lot of pushback from people, even in the cyber world on YouTube, that say, oh, it's just a waste of time and it's just placebo, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's important that each and every person try it for themselves. That is a good enough reason for me to try it for yourself so that you can actually experience what it is these people are talking about. Because, you can read forums, you can read reports, you can watch YouTube videos all day, and if you're not taking any sort of action towards trying it for yourself, it's kind of just pointless. So aside from the many benefits that you're going to experience, I think it's just worthwhile. And those of you who don't know, here's a bonus. I have a twin brother, and he actually started NoFap 10 days ago for the first time, and I've been talking to him about it for a year or two, and finally he started NoFap, and he brought up an interesting point. He said, I asked him, how do you feel? What changes have you noticed? He just said, oh, it's really hard. But he said this is more important for, he's doing this also for the sake of discipline and for willpower. Because if anyone has seen my older videos, I talk a lot about how you can use the discipline and the willpower that you gain from NoFap and start applying it to other areas of your life. So a lot of us fall victim to vices like pornography and masturbation because we don't have control over ourselves, we don't have control over our minds. And that same lack of control, you'll find that that's a characteristic that's that takes place in other areas of your life. So a lot of people have poor diets. A lot of people, necessarily don't have the habit of being in going to the gym and staying in shape. That discipline, that willpower that you gain from NoFap alone is completely worth the, however many days you want to go. If it's a lifestyle change, then even better. But you gain more than just the benefits that you see listed on these websites. You gain the control over yourself, over your emotions, and you learn how to say no. You can start saying no to the things that give you short-term highs and long-term pain. And I think that that is the absolute number one reason why everyone should master, not only challenge yourself or try this, but should master the arts of NoFap, if you want to call it.
The art of NoFap. I love it.
The arts.
And I think another huge reason is a lot of people don't know whether or not NoFap is, or not NoFap, but jerking off to pornography is actually affecting their life in a negative way. And you don't know that until you actually try it out. So you might think that your life is going along fine, but really you could be having these kind of like addictive issues, which, Seth is talking about. So maybe you're really addicted to high fructose corn syrup and really stimulating foods. And you're constantly reaching for that high in those foods, or it could be really with like a lot of different addictions as well. Like if you're addicted to some type of drugs, like you smoke a lot of weed or you drink a lot of alcohol, any type of addiction, like any type of anything where you're trying to achieve a different feeling state, right? By going through it. So it's something that you just need to try out. You have to try it out. I would say at least go for about 30 days at least. And if you can go 60, if you can go 90 days, then you'll really start to experience the benefits. So I'm like 55 days clean right now, and like, you know, there's really no reason for me to want to go and masturbate now. It's just kind of like, it's just like a part of my life just to not do it, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Something else that is really, I think, you kind of touched on it just a little bit earlier there, Seth, is that you don't really have anything to lose. Like, if you don't jerk off, it's like nothing's bad is going to happen to your body or anything like that. Like, it's a very normal thing to do. You know, monks do it. Like, think about the days before high-speed internet porn. Like, guys weren't sitting around jerking off every single night, you know, in front of their computer screen. Like, they weren't typically doing that because they just didn't really have, they didn't, you know, go back 100 years. They barely even had, like, electricity, right? Like,
Right.
you know, like lights working and stuff like that. So they definitely weren't jerking off to porn. So think back to those days, right? Like, what would those guys have done? You know, maybe they would talk with their family, or they would, you know, read books, or, you know, there's so many different things that you can do other than jerking off to porn. So it would just be like giving up sugar or giving up, you know, trans fats or something like that. Like, I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. It's just a temporary high that you're giving up is really what it
Yeah.
is.
And it's almost as if it's the psychology of human beings to when you're presented something and it's so good that you get the feeling of, oh, I can't live without it. But I can think back about how many times, so many times where I was without a cell phone for a week, 2 weeks, a month. And, you know, we keep our cell phones by our side 100% of the time. But when you don't have it with you and you're living without one, it's like, wow, actually, I could live without this. Same thing applies to all these Instagram apps, Facebook apps. We can live without these things. I don't, you know, I have the Facebook page for the sake of just keeping in contact with YouTube subscribers, but my own personal Facebook, I don't have it anymore. And I used to think, oh man, I'm never going to live without this. But we don't need half the crap that's being put in our face. Like, we just don't need it. And that's just like some sort of brain process that takes place where we start feeling like, oh, we need this to do that, or I can't be happy without this. And it's like, you know what, actually you don't need it. And you have a good point. What were they doing before this? You know, they weren't jerking it. Were they okay? Were they happy? Yeah, they were. So I think it's good that we're kind of setting the standard and eliminating the idea that you have to have pornography in your life, because you really don't. It wasn't around years ago, and it doesn't need to be around years from now. You know, we can definitely put an end to this. It's not helping you at all.
Yeah, it really isn't. And when you really kind of like get the NoFap thing going, is you realize a lot of your other addictions tend to just kind of like, you're just not as addicted to them anymore because your hormones are just going to be much more regulated. You're not always looking for that dopamine high. And things just become a lot easier. Like, they really do. I was talking to a guy earlier today, and he was just talking about, since he started NoFap, he's actually like reading books and actually absorbing them and enjoying them. He started to change his diet, and this is only from doing NoFap for like 3 weeks. And so he's able to make all these other changes in his life a lot easier because his dopamine levels are just not going all crazy off the map kind of thing.
Right. And this is why I, especially in all my videos, try to explain how much of a lifestyle it is. Because if you're going in with the mindset that you're trying to do this as a challenge, then A, you're telling yourself that this is temporary, and B, you're making it seem like it's something that's so out of reach, something that's so unattainable that it just becomes an unattractive feat to accomplish. And it's like, why would I want to do this? But again, it's like you're changing your life. And just as the individual you spoke to said he changed his diet, same for me. And I didn't even know that I changed my diet. It was just happening to be that way. I'm a vegan, and man, 2 years ago, I thought about being a vegan. I was like, there's no way I can live without meat. There's no way. Like, same as I was saying earlier. I was so into meat and so just like I had it every day. And as I became stronger through NoFap, so did all my other addictions that I had. They started to diminish, and you start making better choices. You start your mind starts seeing what's best for you. And it didn't just stop with diet, but it also pertained to the people I keep company with, the things that I do. So I didn't go out partying anymore. I didn't drink anymore. I didn't engage in meaningless sex as much. And this is now, it's the side effect of my decision to stop NoFap. It wasn't actually my goal to begin with. And that's how you know it's more for your lifestyle than just some temporary quick fix to all your problems. Because if you look at it in that light, you're going to start with problems and then you're going to end with even more problems.
Absolutely, man. So why should you try NoFap? Because number one reason, it's pretty badass. It's not a real reason, but it's just like, hey, I don't have to give into that. I don't have to give into that that pleasure. I have some restraint in my life, and I'm not going to let that addiction run my life anymore. But more so, just try it out and see if porn PMO is really affecting your life. So porn, masturbation, orgasm, if it's really affecting your life in a negative way, and you just don't really have much to lose anyways. It's just like you're just going to lose out on maybe a few orgasms, and that's about it. But the benefits that you could receive from it is like, it could be absolutely life-altering and life-changing. So
yeah, guys. So that's all we got for today. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. This is something new for both Derek and I, but as we said in the introduction, this is essentially a community, a place where we can share. I haven't felt 100% comfortable speaking about this on my own personal channel because I have other people, friends, family that watch the channel, and now I feel like I have a community that I can share all this with. So continue to check in if you're interested in NoFap. This is going to be pretty beneficial to not only yourself, but to the rest of the community, to share your story, to share your ups, your downs, and let's just get this part of our lives handled.
Awesome. And if you guys have any questions, definitely leave them in the comment box below, and we'll definitely talk about them in future videos. Awesome. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We will talk to you soon. Peace out. NoFap bros. Later.